Leave a like on this video and you will actually receive literally nothing at all. Fantastic deal, leave a like. Now, but what's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new story. And just imagine you wake up tired, but you go to school anyways, and you're sitting in class and you're paying attention like a good boy, and then all of a sudden the door busts open. All because you beat some kid on Call of Duty last night? What? Yeah, so this has never happened to me. However, this has happened to a subscriber before. So today's subscriber story will be about a time that a kid got swatted in school because he beat some kid at Call of Duty on Xbox. I'm not even kidding. Sit back, relax, subscribe if you're new, and let's just jump right into this story, dude. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story PJ. So this whole happens one Sunday night. Well, I guess Monday morning at this point, but PJ started to play on Xbox with his friends on Sunday night, and he was basically up all night. PJ would do this a lot, like he would literally stay up the entire night playing just like video games with his friends on the Xbox. And while this was pretty fun, PJ does not recommend anyone do this because, yeah, PJ basically did not go to sleep before going into school that Monday, and he was absolutely dead at school on Monday. But anyways, right? So it's about 3 or 4 in the morning at this point, and PJ and his friends have been playing for hours. And basically, they were doing like Call of Duty matches. They were playing on teams, but there was also TeamSpeak, right? Basically, if you don't know what that is, it's where you're able to talk to both your teammates, but also you're able to like trash talk your opponents. You're basically able to talk, right? And yeah, let's just say that PJ and his friends, PJ admits that back in the day when he used to do this, he was actually pretty toxic, and, you know, he doesn't really recommend anyone do this because there are some scary internet people that, you know, they will take the trash talking a little bit too far, or they'll get extra big mad, and they'll do some pretty crazy stuff back. Yeah, but anyways, right, this all happened at one match, right, at like 3 or 4 in the morning. So PJ wasn't yelling or anything, but he was talking loud enough. Like his parents, the walls were thick enough that they couldn't hear. So PJ was playing with his friends in a team, and PJ actually, you know, they won the match, and someone on the opposing team was like starting to like cuss out PJ and like all the other people. So PJ kind of went a little bit too crazy, right? He went a little bit too hard, PJ does admit. I don't know exactly what PJ says to him, but he's basically like, he is trash talking, and he goes on for like a 2-minute tirade. Like, just imagine you're just like basically cussing out some kid, and you're just like slamming him for 2 minutes long. You're like, I just did your mom, you're trash, like, I can't, like, you're a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of like very standard, like, Call of Duty Xbox Live type insults, right? I don't want to list them all out because I'm not trying to get this video absolutely destroyed in the algorithm. Because if I said a few too many of them, I think I would actually just get my entire channel removed. So just make some assumptions here, right? And anyways, after about 2 minutes, like, PJ eventually stops slamming this guy, and he doesn't say, he's been quiet for the last 2 minutes. And PJ and his friends thought that this kid was quiet because he just couldn't respond. He was barely able to taking it. Maybe he was simply trying to just hold back tears, and that's why he wasn't talking. But it turns out this kid was just, he was being a sweaty little hacker, dude, and he was very busy while PJ was, like, berating him. And after about, like, 30 seconds of waiting, PJ's like, all right, dude, do you have anything to say to that? And the guy says, no, not really. Well, actually, no, I do. Just one thing. And PJ's like, uh-huh. PJ's feeling all confident and like, I just messed with this kid so hard, whatever, right? And the kid goes on to say, right, you know, the kid goes on to say, like, you know, you should be more careful what you say to people online, PJ. And you guys might be thinking, like, why is that such a big deal? Well, it was a pretty big deal because PJ's profile was like Swaglord2769. It had nothing to do with his first and last name. And to PJ's knowledge, none of his accounts were like connected at all to anything like personal he had. So PJ went dead silent, as well as everyone else in the call with him, because they just all realized that, yeah, this kid basically just called PJ by his birth name, where like PJ was, you know, he was playing with like Swaglord69420, right? He was not playing with a name that was like had anything to do with him. So immediately PJ tries to brush it off. It's like, haha, yeah, whatever, man. And they leave the call. And that's when, like, you know, because they leave the specific game, and PJ's like on call or on Skype with his friends or whatever, and he's like, dude, like, how did that kid know my name? And they're like, dude, I don't know. Like, he must have, like, I don't know, maybe he pulled your IP or something. Maybe he somehow got your information. And at this point, PJ, first of all, he was like kind of freaking out because he was a little bit, because I mean, this was kind of spooky, right? This was kind of scary. But he also had 0 hours of sleep on him. It was about 5 in the morning right now. So he was extra just like tripping balls at this point. He's like, dude, what, this kid like knows my address? What if he tries to do XYZ? Who even knows, right? Creepy hackers online that he basically said, I was going to do your mom to for 2 minutes straight. So probably he's not going to be the most sympathetic to PJ. And the other kids are like, bro, don't even worry about it. You're literally freaking out over nothing. Like, don't even sweat this. Like, this is really small. Kid, yeah, sure, the kid got your name, but, like, he probably just, like, found some link or something of yours. Or maybe, like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't freak out that much. He probably just said that to scare you. Like, do you really think he's going to go out of his way to try and mess with you? I mean, he probably deals with people like that all the time on Call of Duty or, like, voice chat or whatever. Like, you think that's the first time that someone said something like that to him? And PJ was calming down a little bit. He was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And they played a few more games because PJ had to go on the bus at 6:30. Yeah, so PJ was just not going to sleep that night. But, you know, PJ was definitely more quiet in the other games. He wasn't necessarily cussing people out like he was in the first game, or in all the other games, I should say. And eventually he hops off, and it's like 6:15, and he just feels like absolute crap because he hasn't slept. And he's just like, oh my God, I got to get on the bus in 15 minutes. He goes into his bed for 5 minutes, and then his mom is yelling at him like, PJ, the bus is, like, you have to get ready for the bus, dude. And he's like, oh my God. Yeah, I do not suggest ever staying up all night. I've actually done it before class once or twice before last year because my sleep schedule then was it was terrible, right? Now it's pretty good, dude, I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, I never suggest you do it ever. So yeah, PJ gets on the bus. But even though, like, you know, while he's on the bus, while he gets into school, he just can't stop thinking about, like, this kid on Xbox. He can't stop thinking about, like, how did this kid get my actual name? How did this kid, like, is he going to do anything with it? Like, I don't know. Like, this is super weird. And he was basically just spurging out about it the entire time. He just could not, like, he was like, oh my God, like, I'm actually tripping about this. And he kind of was. And partially because it was kind of freaky, and partially because he had 0 hours of sleep on him. But either way, you know, throughout the rest of the day and all of his classes, he was just kind of freaking out. So skip to the last class of the day. At this point, PJ has kind of like stopped thinking about it because it's kind of just in the back of his head now. Because he's like, really, okay, at this point, whatever, like, he knows my name. It's some random kid on Xbox. I don't really care. Oh no, 14-year-old Xbox nerd shows up to my house. What is he going to do? Like, scream at me, take out his controller, and try and, like, I don't know, like, what is he going to do? But that's when PJ notices, or hears, I should say, a knock on the door. So they're all doing a writing assignment, since this is an English class, right? They're all writing, like, something. So everyone's at their desks, and the teacher sits at the front of the room. And the teacher gets up, and she goes to the door, and she opens it, and she hears, like, you know, PJ looks up, and she's, like, talking with someone. But PJ can't necessarily see who she's talking to, so he kind of tries not to pay attention to it. But for some reason, he's like, this is sus. Like, he doesn't know why he thinks it's suspicious, but he's just like, okay, something's up with this. So PJ keeps looking, and that's when he notices this guy step on into the classroom. This guy was a police officer in uniform, and he was, like, talking to the teacher. And he was talking to the teacher, and the teacher looks at the police officer, and then the teacher scans the classroom, makes eye contact with PJ, looks back at the police officer, and then points at PJ. At this point, PJ's like, am I starting to hallucinate or what? Like, I know that you start to go crazy when you have 0 hours of sleep, but what's going on here, right? And the police officer, like, looks up, and, like, he looks at the teacher and then says something to the teacher. And then the teacher starts walking up towards PJ's desk. And he's like, okay, no, this is actually happening. What the fuck? Huh? Dude, what? And the teacher comes up and says, hey, PJ, like, can you come up with us for a second? And PJ's just like, at this point, he is about to shit his pants, dude. He's about to he's like, oh my God, what is going on right now? And he gets up and he walks to the front of the class. And the police officer and, like, the teacher are all standing there. And the police officer's like, hey, like, can you come with us for a second? and they walk up and they start walking up to the front desk, and PJ's like, can you guys tell me what's going on? Like, I'm really confused. And, the police officer's like, we just got a few questions for you, man. Like, just come with us. And the teacher has like a very solemn look on her face. And PJ is like, what is going on? Because like PJ never got into trouble. Like maybe if PJ was always doing some suspicious stuff, like, I don't know, like trying to sell something or cheating on tests or doing like skipping class all the time, then maybe he would expect, oh, it's probably one of these things, I'm getting screwed for it. No, PJ was like a relatively good kid. Like, yeah, he wasn't like, I don't know, giving his teacher a polished apple every day and coming in, sitting in the front row with like a sweater vest. But like, dude was a good a good kid, man. He never did anything like that. So when they get up to the front office, PJ walks in and he just knows that like something is really, really bad, because he walks in and there's like 4 to 5 other police officers like sitting in the front desk. It's not just the police officer that like brought him into school, right? It is like 4 to 5 other ones, and they're like in full uniform and everything. And the principal's there, his teacher's there, 5 officers are sitting there, and PJ is just looking at them with this look of just terror, right? And the principal says, hey, PJ, like, we gotta talk. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Xbox down below if you made it this far into the video. That will be the secret word of the day. The secret word will be Xbox. And if you want to support the channel and help me get back into the algorithm, because I'm starting to get back in my grind, the best possible thing you can do is just watch a bunch of my old videos. So maybe put on a playlist of my videos while you're doing something like, I don't know, cleaning your room, drawing, playing a video game or something like that. And let me know in the comment section down below what you do while you watch my videos in the background. Like, I'm actually genuinely curious, like, what you guys do. I'm going to try and heart and reply to as many comments as I possibly can of you guys telling me what you do while you watch my videos, because watching a bunch of my videos supports me more than you can ever imagine, and I just want to say thank you. Anyways, let's get back to the story, because it's getting pretty interesting. Leave a like for your free nothing, subscribe if you're new, and yeah. So PJ is just looking at them, and he's just like, oh my god, dude, like, oh my god. And he's like, yeah, like, how can I help? Like, I'm really confused. And the principal's like, well, we got a call today. We got an anonymous call that, like, you brought, like, a knife on you because you were going to get in a fight with another kid, and that you were going to use this knife in a fight or something. And, I mean, very obviously, we have to take this very seriously. And, I mean, PJ is just looking at them with this look of just pure shock and confusion. He's like, dude, like, no, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm so, like, I genuinely am so confused and lost right now. And the police officer's like, yeah, we got a report last night, or a report this morning at about, like, 6:32 this morning, that someone named PJ that went to this school district was going to bring a weapon on them to assist them in a fight and potentially cause real damage to another student. So we had to, come in and check this out. And PJ's like, this isn't true. Like, I have no idea who would have done this. And that's when PJ realized that it was the freaking Xbox kid that called this in. And PJ's like, actually, like, I was online last night and I was like I was like messing with this kid who I don't know. And that's when he got my information. And, like, sometimes, like, online, there's some really scary people that do messed up stuff. And, like, when they get your information, they'll call in something to your school. Like, this stuff, like, happens sometimes. And, at this point, he's like, police officer's like, I don't know if I believe you on this one. And, he's like, I don't know, man. Like, he's like, okay, fine. Like, if search my stuff, like, it's whatever. Just, you can search everything I have on me. And if you find anything, then fair, but, like, you can trust me on this one. You can search my stuff. I don't have anything on me. Trust me. Yeah, so anyways, they do a full sweep of PJ's body, his backpack, his locker, everything, right? And eventually, after 30 minutes, they come back and they're like, yeah, okay, he wasn't lying. It is true that, there's just nothing, right? And, yeah, PJ's like, well, yeah, it's like, I wouldn't do that stuff. And the principal and the teacher were like, yeah, you're a quiet kid. We wouldn't expect you to do anything like this. But, we have to take this stuff seriously anyways. So, PJ, is let go. And they're like, okay, fine. But, like, obviously, if we see anything or hear anything, we're going to have to, like, it's very serious. And he's like, yep, no, it's not me. Trust me. So, anyways, PJ gets back home. he gets on call with his friends on Skype, and he just tells them what happens. And they're like, dude, like, that's crazy, right? Like, that's terrible. And the thing is, though, one of PJ's friends says, hey, like, I actually got something we might be able to fix the situation with. And PJ was like, okay, what are you thinking? And the friend goes on to say, well, I was a little concerned when that guy got your information last night, so I decided to look up his profile. And let's just say, while he might think that he's like a mad, crazy hacker or whatever, he's not the smartest guy ever. And PJ's like, oh, well, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, he accidentally left his personal Facebook link in his like bio or whatever. I don't know. Somehow he alluded to, maybe he like linked his Twitter, and on his Twitter he posted his Facebook or whatever. Somehow they got back to his personal Facebook account, and they found his real name, and they found his school information, and they found all that stuff, right? It was just some like 15-year-old like sweaty Xbox kid. It wasn't some scary like 30-year-old like professional hacker, right? And it turns out PJ probably just left a link to his personal like Facebook as well, because Facebook was big back in the day when this happened. And yeah. So anyways, you know, PJ's like, okay, well, we should confront this kid and, you know, just make sure this doesn't happen again. So his friend like messages the guy, and he's like, hey, like, my friend wants to talk to you. And this guy immediately responds back like, did he enjoy the little surprise I gave him at school today? And, you know, PJ's friend responds to this being like, well, no, but also I just want to, and then he's like, I'm going to ask you politely to not do that again. And the guy in Xbox is like, you can't stop me. Like, what are you going to do about it? He basically just fell right into this trap, because that's when, you know, PJ's friend linked him like a document, or like linked him his personal Facebook, which was like public or something, or just had the information. And his friend's like, hey man, like, I'm not going to do anything. Like, we're going to, like, let's have a truce here. He says, but if you do anything else, like, we know for a fact it's you. Like, we are going to report you to your police. We're going to report you to your school. Like, we have your information now. You better not do anything. The Xbox hacker guy just does not respond. Just no response. So for the next couple of days, PJ's actually a little bit freaked out, because he's like, what if he does something again? What if, like, he knows that we know, like, who he is, but, like, what if he does something anyways? What if he tries to get revenge? What if he doesn't care? Like, all these type of things. But what ends up happening is weeks go by and nothing happens. And yeah, from this point on, nothing has ever happened again. Probably the Xbox hacker just got scared away. And moral of the story is, I don't know, be nice online, but also don't be a little sweaty nerd and do stuff like that to other kids if they make you mad. Like, come on, man, be cool. Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click